Hello and welcome to all of you. You're watching Tech 24, France 24's tech show. From overfishing to plastic waste, oil spills, and raw sewage dumping, human activities have been altering ocean ecosystems for decades. But startups are now finding new solutions to help save the oceans. We'll speak to Emily Penn, an award-winning British skipper who's sailing the world's oceans to tackle plastic pollution. And in Test 24, we tried the Bose frames, a pair of shades with built-in speakers for an immersive audio experience unlike any other. But first, the Nekton mission has embarked on an unprecedented exploration of the deep ocean. The ecosystem beneath 200 meters is actually the beating heart of our planet. Yet for some reason, we have better maps of Mars than we do of our own seabed, as at least 95% remains unexplored. But as the crew kicked off the mission several days ago, a key underwater drone was lost and then retrieved after its cable was cut off, as Maud Julien reports.
Third time lucky. An underwater drone is finally hauled out. Its cable was cut in an accident, putting the Nekton mission at a stall for 2 days.
The sea is all-powerful, actually. It is a hostile environment, and we just have to live with that. It's not unusual to lose kit on marine expeditions. Most people who've been in marine science as long as I have will have lost some kit at some point.
But this isn't just any piece of kit. It's a remotely operated vehicle worth $500,000. One of several cutting-edge video transmission devices used by the British-led expedition.
200 meters, north side of the island without phones.
Aboard submersibles that can transmit live from the depths, they're looking for new species in one of the least explored oceans in the world.
We're now transmitting 2 high bandwidth streams of video data from both of the submarines simultaneously, and this has never been done before.
The scientists will drop sensors to depths up to 2,000 meters into what's known as the bathyal zone, or the deep sea, a zone which performs an essential role for the planet by absorbing the carbon dioxide and regulating the climate. They hope the collected imagery and data will help highlight the state of the world's seas.
So I think our underwater broadcast is a great outreach experience, but it also provides that connectivity of people with their oceans. The oceans belong to all of us, so sometimes that's a bad thing because nobody takes responsibility, but actually if we all choose to take collective responsibility, then we can really make sure they're managed sustainably for the future.
The Seychelles mission is Nekton's second expedition in the Indian Ocean. In total, there will be 6 trips, aimed at raising awareness and bringing about policy change on ocean protection.
Now, the oceans cover more than 70% of our planet's surface, and so far, the majority of that habitat has experienced more technological harm than benefit. But things are changing, with initiatives springing from all parts of the globe. Well, I'm now joined by Emily Penn, a renowned British skipper and ocean advocate. Emily, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. It's great to be here.
Now, you founded a worldwide sailing expedition with the aim of raising awareness and finding solutions to the environmental impacts of single-use plastics. Tell us more about the X expedition and why you decided to involve women in particular.
Yeah, so we set up about 5 years ago to go and explore some of these unanswered questions around plastics and toxics in our ocean. And the more we discovered about particularly the chemical pollution that's out there, is how that it can actually affect us women through the fact that lots of these chemicals are hormone disruptors that can affect pregnancy, and we can pass them on to our children. So that was really the initial incentive to put together this amazing multidisciplinary all-women's team from all across the world to go and find out more answers to these questions. And since then, it's grown and grown into now, as you say, this global event that we're about to kick off in October. And we really wanted to keep carrying that women aspect through because of the power of the bonding on board that happens during these voyages and what these women go on to do when they return home to eliminate plastic from their lives and their communities.
Now, what kind of scientific work have researchers conducted during previous expeditions, and what key technologies are they using?
So we're trying to understand the composition of the plastic on the surface of the ocean. So particularly the types of plastic that are out there. Most of the plastic is actually this big. There's a rather grim looking jar, but these are microplastics. And most of the plastic on the surface is smaller than your little fingernail. So for this, we need to use a manta trawl, a device that we deploy over the side of the vessel to take a surface water sample. We then bring that back up on board, and then we use a combination of microscopes and other equipment like an FTIR that can actually help us determine the type of plastic, and we hope, therefore, the sources of plastic, so we can work on upstream solutions for solving the problem.
Now, the crew has already completed 11 voyages, including expeditions to the Amazon and the Arctic Circle. Which interesting tech initiatives aimed at helping the oceans have you encountered during your many travels around the world?
Yeah, this is the really positive news, is although we're still seeing a huge impact of plastic on our oceans, the awareness of plastic has increased drastically, and along with that, some amazing innovations. I've got a couple of examples here. One organization that I work with is Parley and Adidas. They've actually come up with a design for this shoe that started off as 11 plastic bottles that washed up on an island in the Maldives. They can then turn that plastic into fragments and into a filament, a fiber that can then get turned into a shoe just like this, or this one exactly, and have gone on to produce many more. There's other innovations such as biodegradable materials. So this plastic bag here has a completely different texture to a normal plastic bag, and is 100% biodegradable once it's put in the right conditions. So there's lots that we're already seeing of green chemistry, technology, innovations. We've still got a long way to go. The biodegradable capabilities aren't fully figured out yet. For example, this won't actually disappear when it gets to the ocean. It will act like normal plastic by the time it gets there. But there's lots of things going on to try and move these innovations to the next level so we can solve the problem.
Emily Penn, the founder of the X Expedition, thank you so much for speaking to us here on Tech24.
Thanks.
Now, Dhananjay Khatalkar is on set to tell us more about other projects, other startups that are developing technologies leading to a more responsible ocean management. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Julia.
Let's start with the first example, the Wave Glider.
Yes, Wave Glider is an autonomous ocean robot that has been developed by the company Liquid Robotics. It essentially consists of two parts. First, the floating platform that contains solar panels and sensors that are used to measure different parameters, including atmospheric conditions, and it's also used for oceanographic surveys. And the second part consists of a sub that is attached to the surface by an 8-meter cable, and this sub is responsible for the propulsion because it contains 12 flexible wings that tilt according to the motion of the waves, and that's how this vehicle gets its propulsion through wave energy. But there are also solar panels, so in case there's a need for an additional thrust, they can be activated, and you can see there's a propeller here, and for that additional thrust, the solar panels are used. Now it can carry different payloads for specific missions, but interestingly, it is also used for specific natural events. Like, for example, last year there was a volcanic eruption in Hawaii, and wave gliders were deployed to study the impact of the lava on the water as it enters the sea. So it measured different parameters like the underwater acoustics and the water temperature as well.
And now the population of sea urchins is also proliferating, and that's a problem for the marine ecosystem.
Yes, as everywhere, there is a delicate balance even in the underwater ecosystem. So this consists of predators. In this case, there are lobsters. Then there is the prey, which are the sea urchins. And of course, there's the fauna, which, as you can see, these are the plants. But in reality, they are algae, and they are called kelp forests. So if this balance is disturbed, then we know there are a lot of problems. And this has been done, or this has resulted because of overfishing and also because of climate change, as a result of which the lobster population has gone down, and consequently the sea urchins population has gone up. So in order to keep a check on sea urchins, Marauder Robotics has developed this autonomous robot. As you can see, it can dive up to 120 feet deep, and it has a computer vision that enables it to identify different types of sea urchins, and then it can remove them or remove the desired ones. So it is useful to maintain that balance in the underwater ecosystem.
Balance. Yeah. And as France is currently dealing with a major oil spill, there's a technology that could actually help authorities deal with this spill.
Yes, many companies have developed buoys. These essentially are deployed when there's an oil spill and they are directed to go along the surface current. These buoys generally come with GPS, and they are able to send back information on the density of oil, on the size of the oil globules. And there's one company called Advisian that has developed this buoy, which is conical in shape, which weighs 7 kilograms, and it tracks oil spills very efficiently.
Thank you, Dan. We're going to move on to Test 24. Bose has just released an augmented reality pair of sunglasses. They use sound instead of sight to relay information. Dan Kalokar is wearing them right now on set, and we can feel the sunshine, Dan.
Well, it's not been really sunny for a long time in Paris, but I'm still enjoying the sunglasses because they produce quality sound. Now, the idea behind the augmented reality frames, as they are called, is that instead of visuals, you get to hear sound even when you are interacting with the real environment. So right now, I'm listening to music, and I'm 100% sure you're not able to hear it.
Nope.
That's because the speakers inside these frames or on the arms, they are transducers, and they are packaged in acoustic chambers, and they direct the sound only to the wearer's ears. And there's also noise cancellation technology that stops the leakages from out of this environment. So that's an added advantage. And secondly, you can also receive calls and make calls using these glasses by just tapping this button. You can, give voice instructions and make a call. So let's do a little demo. Yeah.
Try to call me. So Dan is actually calling with his sunglasses, so that we're clear.
So it's very easy. I mean, right now I'm using my phone, and you can hear, and I'm hands-free. I can talk to you. I'm sure you can hear me. Maybe if you can put it on.
I can hear you well.
Yeah, me too. So this is a great advantage, and I think it's a cool object, and it's really, the sunglasses also look really cool. Like,
yeah, they are very cool, and they look great on you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. That brings us to the end of this week's edition of Tech 24, but you can watch it again on our website, France24.com.